Yo, what's up guys? So today we are gonna see, what if, Naruto unlocks his bloodline during a beating at a young age, Naruto X Temari X Female Haku X Hinata, Part 2, hope you'll enjoy this video. So before we start, go check out the author of this fanfic, Blue Lion Fox, link is in the description and also subscribe to my channel, and like this video. Let's begin the video. Kushina led her team around the country so they could get a clue about how everything was. The things they saw made them all want to cry, especially when a kid who looked around 5 years old asked them for food. "Mom, we have to do something," Naruto said. "I know, just make sure to stay in the shadows. We don't want the ninja from Konoha to know we are here," Kushina said. Kushina watched as the three ran off in different directions to offer help and fix, as much as they could. Each had a few clones following them. Kushina walked to the nearest building. After making sure no one was in it, she went through some hand signs. "Doton, building restoration," she called out, and fixed the building to look like new. Everyone around her looked at the newly fixed building in surprise. "How did you do that?" "I'm a kunoichi. I used to fix the building," Kushina told them. "Thank you so much, you fixed my house," someone else said. "Don't thank me, I will be fixing every building in the country," Kushina told them. "You're here to save us from Gato," someone asked. "Who is Gato?" Kushina. "He is the reason why our village is so poor. He taxes us so much for everything that we can barely feed our families, and the food we can get is so bad that it's not worth trying to eat," someone told her. "I see, where can I find this Gato person?" Kushina asked. "No one knows where he lives," the villager told her. "Okay, I'll find him, and make him pay for what he has done," Kushina said. Kushina continued to restore the buildings when someone walked up to her. "Can I help you?" she asked. The lady looked at her. "You never told me what your name was," she said. "Kushina, do I know you?" She responded. "Yes, I'm Haku," the young kunoichi responded. "I see." Kushina returned to fixing the buildings. "Why are you visiting me?" she asked. "You claimed that Zabuza-sama would kill me if he found someone stronger. What makes you so sure he would do that?" Haku asked. "First off, don't call him that around me, and I know he will because since he had you he killed his previous followers," Kushina said. "They died in battle," Haku said. "Only after he poisoned them first," Kushina said. "How do you know this?" Haku asked. "Do you know his goal in life?" Kushina asked. Haku asked, confused. "The reason he ran from Kiri, did he tell you?" Kushina asked. "Well, he told me that the country was unstable, and too dangerous to live in," Haku said. Kushina laughed. "Unstable? I can tell you now the country is not as unstable as you think. The reason he fled Kiri was because he tried to kill the Mizukage and take the position himself. He saw you on his way out, and thought you would be a good asset to his plans to become the Mizukage," she told her. "How do you know this?" Haku asked. Kushina pulled out a book. "Do you know what this is?" "A book," Haku said. "It's a bingo book. It has the rank, threat level, and reasoning for every registered nin. Look through it until you find Zabuza, then tell me if he is still worth trying to defend," Kushina said, handing her the book. Haku read through the book. "You're in this book also," she said. "I know, I'm an S-ranked kunoichi," Kushina said proudly. "Zabuza is also an S-ranked shinobi," Haku said. "Yeah, continue to read his page," Kushina said. Haku read his page. "You're right, he did lie to me about everything," she said. "Some people will lie to get things to go their way," Kushina said. "I have to go," Haku said. "Haku, before you go, remember you can always come to me for anything, and stop hiding yourself from the world. You're a beautiful girl, let it show," Kushina said. "Thanks, I'll remember what," Haku said, and ran off. In Gato's hideout. Haku walked into the hideout, and went into the room that she and Zabuza had. She sat in the chair next to his bed thinking about what she learned. The door opened, and she vanished from sight, using a spying that all hunter nins are taught. Someone who she didn't recognize walked in, and sat in the chair she was previously sitting in. "You're still asleep," they said. Zabuza looked over at him. "That girl hit my pressure point too hard this time," he said. "So why do you keep her around?" "Because she is the only medic I know," Zabuza said. "You're going to end up dead if you keep her around. She is too nice, you need to get rid of her," the nin said. "I will, just not now. I need her until I'm completely healed," Zabuza said. Haku stopped using her, and stood behind the nin facing away from them. "Were you spying on us?" the nin asked. "No," Haku said. "How long until I can walk?" Zabuza asked. "Why don't you ask someone else?" "I'm leaving," Haku said. "What are you talking about?" Zabuza asked. "What, you didn't think I knew I was only here until you thought I was no longer of any use to you?" Haku asked. The ninja looked at Zabuza, who shrugged. "I guess I have no choice but to end your life now," he said. The air around Haku got colder, as she grabbed out of the air, and blocked the kunai from the nin. "So you send others to do your dirty work, Zabuza?" she asked. "I'm more than enough for you," the nin said. "Too bad for you, I have more important things to attend to than fight you," Haku said, then kicked him away from her, and vanished via Shunshin no. Haku appeared outside the building and went through a few hand signs. Shortly she was dressed as a civilian. She walked around the village and unwillingly ran into a ninja from Konoha. "Excuse me, but something about you seemed familiar," one of them said. "We have never met before," Haku said with a smile. "You're a ninja, right?" he asked. "What makes you think that?" Haku asked. "Because no civilian carries themselves the way you are. It takes years of training to make every move precise," the nine said. "I guess I'm caught. I have a few years of ninja training, but I haven't used it in so long that I'm of no use to anyone," Haku lied to. "Come with me, I'm sure I can get my sensei to let me help you out a little," he said. "Why not? What's your name?" Haku asked. "Sasuke. Yours?" he answered. "Haku," she replied. "You're very pretty," he said. "Thanks," Haku said while rolling her eyes. They arrived at Tazuna House, where Kakashi-sensei around. Sasuke asked. "I'm here," Kakashi called from the living room. Sasuke led Haku into the living room, to which his female teammate asked. "Calm down, Sakura, she is someone I met while walking around the country. She has a little ninja training, and I was wondering if it would be fine if I taught her a little," Sasuke said. Kakashi looked at her for a minute, and he finally said. "Why, she could help us with our mission," Sasuke asked. Kakashi looked at Haku. "Sasuke, what have I told you about paying attention to the small details?" he asked. "What does that have to do with anything?" Sasuke asked. "You actually believe she has a little ninja training? Just look at the way she is standing. She is ready to attack or defend herself in a sudden moment. You don't learn that with a little training," Kakashi said. Sasuke looked at her. "Is that true?" he asked. "A kunoichi's biggest advantage is deception," she said. "You lost that advantage the moment you showed yourself to me," Kakashi said. "Maybe, but I'm still fast enough to get away from you, and to safety," Haku said. "Let's see how fast you are," Kakashi said, and removed his aid from his eye. Haku vanished, and Kakashi quickly followed. "That won't work for me. Where is Zabuza, and I might let you live?" he asked. Haku threw a few senbons at him. "Go find him yourself," she said, then jumped away. Kakashi quickly followed, and caught up with the kunoichi. "I gave you the chance to live, now you're going to die," he said. "Still picking on those who can't protect themselves, are you?" they heard. They both looked towards where the voice came from, and saw Kushina sitting in a tree looking away from them. After a while she turned towards them. "What have you gotten yourself into this time, Haku?" she asked while dropping off the tree. "I had it under control," Haku said while looking away from her. "It's not a bad idea to admit you need help sometimes," Kushina said, as she walked up to them. "Now are you going to leave, or will I have to make you pervert?" she asked, looking at Kakashi. "I guess you will have to make me," he said. "Your death," Kushina said, as she grabbed her katana off her back. Before they could do anything, the temperature rose dramatically, and Kasumi appeared next to Kushina along with her bloodline ninjas. "Kushina, nice to see you again," she said. "Kasumi, what brings you here?" Kushina asked, surprised. "I heard about a redhead, and her redhead son here. I had to know if it was you since it's been a while since we last talked," Kasumi said. Haku used her bloodline to lower the temperature around her, getting Kasumi's attention. "You're Yukiko?" she asked. "Yes," Haku said. "I thought you all died," Kasumi said. "I could say the same about the Natsuko clan," Haku said. "Point taken, looks like we are the last of our respective clans," Kasumi said. Kushina looked around. "Since he ran, let's go find my genins," she said. "Your genins?" Kasumi asked. "Yeah, my son, Tenten, and Hinata," Kushina said. "What's that?" one of the ninjas with Kasumi asked, pointing to something in the sky. Kushina looked at it. "Why does that look familiar?" she asked herself. She thought about it, and then it hit her like a fallen mountain. "Tenten!" she screamed, and took off, as fast as she could, towards the spot, with the rest following behind her. With Tenten and Hinata. Tenten jumped in the air after her scroll, and threw it open, and weapons started to rain down on the ninjas below without any hesitation. Hinata, with her Byakugan active, was able to run between the falling weapons, and strike their opponents without any resistance from them. The leader watched them, as they did this, and started to lose his patience. "It's only two of them," he yelled. "Sorry, Orochimaru-sama, but they are stronger than they look," one of the nins said. Orochimaru threw a kunai into his head, killing him. "Kimimaro, Tayuya, Kadumaru, Yukon, and Jirubu, go get them, and do not kill them," he said. The five ran into the fight, easily dodging the weapons. Tayuya kicked Hinata in her stomach, sending her flying. Tenten dove out the air, and caught her before she hit the ground. The five started to run at them, but were thrown back by a rush of sand. Naruto jumped in front of his two best friends, prepared to defend them with his life. Landing not far behind him was Kushina. She walked up to them, and looked at the state Tenten and Hinata were in, and walked up to Naruto, healed them. "I'll take care of this," she ordered. Naruto backed up, and went to heal Tenten and Hinata. Kushina started to walk towards the five, then vanished, and sent Orochimaru flying into the distance, and jumped after him. Surround these three, and don't let anyone get to them until Kushina returns, Kasumi ordered. Haku attacked the 5 nins, and was followed by Kasumi. Let's see how good you are, Yukiko, Kasumi said in a challenge. Your son Natsuko, Haku said to take her up on her challenge. Tenten and Hinata stood up after Naruto healed them, where Kushina-sensei Tenten asked. She chased after Orochimaru, Naruto said. We should follow her, Hinata said. The three then went through some hand signs, secret, of invisibility they called out, and slowly vanished from the sight of everyone around. They then ran off in the direction that Kushina and Orochimaru were fighting. The 2 Hokage-level ninja were exchanging strikes with their katanas at a high speed. The 3 genins stayed back waiting for a chance to tip the fight in Kushina's favor. The 2 split apart, and, as soon as they landed, the 3 attacked Orochimaru from behind, Naruto with his katana, Hinata with her whip, and Tenten with her rod. Hinata's whip caught Orochimaru by surprise first, as it wrapped itself around his arm that held his katana. Tenten and Naruto were close behind on their attacks, as they came from overhead prepared to cut him in half. Orochimaru, although surprised by the attack, didn't panic, and just overpowered Hinata, and blocked the 2 weapons with his katana. Nice try, but you're not in a sandbox anymore, he said. And they are not the ones you should be worried about, Kushina said from behind him, and attacked, swinging her katana at his neck. Orochimaru ducked, and his arm was cut off. You will pay for interfering, he said, then grabbed his katana off the ground, and melted into the ground. Kushina grabbed his arm, and sealed it into a scroll. She then turned to her genins. What the hell was you 3 thinking, she asked, clearly pissed off. We thought we could help, Hinata said. We trained under you, Mom, you, and Kurenai, and we just wanted to prove ourselves, Tenten said. Are you mad at us? Naruto asked. No, I'm not mad, just scared. You could have been killed. Orochimaru is a Sannin, and trained with Tsunade, and Jiraiya. He is not to be taken lightly. If he wasn't taken off guard by your sneak attack, you all would have been killed before I could get to him, Kushina said. So you're not mad, Hinata asked. No, I'm not mad, just don't do that again, Kushina said. We won't, we promise, Naruto said. Good, now you finally got the Kurenai that was teaching you to work, Kushina asked. Yup, we can only do it together though, Tenten said. Kushina nodded. Let's get back to the others, she said, and led them back to the other fight. When they arrived, they saw Haku and Kasumi tying up the last 2 of the Sound 5. What took you so long? Kasumi asked. I had some unexpected guesses, Kushina said, pointing to her genin. Well, did you defeat Orochimaru? Haku asked. No, but I did cut off his arm thanks to these 3, Kushina said. Since these technically are your prisoners, what should we do with them? Kasumi asked. Send them back to Suna. Anko hasn't had someone interrogate in a while, Kushina said. You heard her, get them back to Suna, and don't leave until I come get you, Kasumi ordered her shinobi group. Hi, the 10 replied, and grabbed the 5 sound nins. Mom, Naruto said. What? Kushina asked, looking at her son. I think I'm going to need a new weapon, he said. Kushina asked, tilting her head to the side. My katana cracked, Naruto said sheepishly. Kushina sighed. You're unbelievable, she mumbled. You idiot, do you know how long it took me to fix that? Tenten yelled at her younger brother. I didn't do it on purpose, Naruto said, as he backed from the pissed-off Kunoichi. I poured my blood and sweat in it, and you break it after 1 mission, Tenten yelled, as she slowly approached him. It's not my fault that it couldn't stand up to the pressure of Orochimaru's weapon, Naruto yelled back. Are you saying I'm not a good enough weapon? Smith Tenten asked with a glare. Naruto swallowed. I didn't mean it like that, he said. Enough, you two, Kushina interjected, seeing that this was quickly getting out of hand. Tenten, it's not your weapon making skills that failed, but the material used, she added. Tenten sent one last glare at Naruto before taking the katana and sheath from him. Fine, she said, as she started to inspect the crack. Maybe we should find somewhere to stay the night, Kasumi suggested. At Tazuna house. Kakashi sat on the couch not saying anything. Sasuke walked into the room followed by Sakura. What's wrong, sensei, he asked. Where is Kiba? We wasted too much time sitting around for some training, Kakashi said. Sasuke shrugged. Probably in the back, he said. Go get him, Kakashi said. After Kiba was in the house, he led them out the front door. Time for some real ninja training, he said. I thought we were getting real training already, Sakura said. That was just to get you ready for my real training. I won't take it easy, Kiba and Sasuke. I might be able to handle it, but Sakura will be at a disadvantage, and I will focus mainly on you, Kakashi said. Alright, we get to learn some new jutsus, Kiba said. Not yet, Kiba. You and Sasuke go on that lake and spar. Don't hold anything back, Kakashi ordered. Once they were on the water and sparring, he turned his attention to Sakura. I have a lot of work to get you up to Kunoichi standard. Start climbing this tree, only use your chakra, and don't let your hands touch the tree, he told her. A week later. During the week, Kakashi spent most of the time drilling Sakura on all types of chakra and taijutsu exercises. It was clear that she had the best control out of all the genins except Ino and Niji, but she also had the lowest amount of chakra. During the week her chakra doubled in size, and she made notable strides in taijutsu. Kakashi walked to their normal training area. Sakura, are you ready for today? He asked. Yes, sensei, she answered. Kakashi nodded. Today I'm going to introduce you to basic medics. With your control, and how smart you are, you should learn the basics pretty fast. Depending on how well you do now, I will ask for a medic to teach you when we get back to Konoha, he said. Yes, sensei, I will train hard. I won't slow the others down, Sakura said. Kakashi nodded, and handed her the scroll. If you need any help, I'll be watching over Kiba and Sasuke, he said. In Suna. Tsunade walked into the living room and sat across from Anko and Kurenai and next to Yugugo. You won't believe what I found, she said. Anko asked. Well, when I was in Konoha, I did a blood test on all the genin kunoichis in the village. She was interrupted. Why would you do that? Kurenai asked. I'm a medic, I'm always finding things to research that have to do with my field. Now, like I was saying, it just so happens that there are two kunoichis that when I paired their blood with Naruto's blood, the results are a 90 and 80% chance that they will create a new bloodline, Tsunade said. Really, that means that with one of them a new bloodline will be created, and with the other the chances are too high to pass up, Kurenai said. Exactly. After I found this out, I stopped the other testing and focused on these two. One, Ino Yamanaka has a 80% chance of creating a bloodline that allows her not only to use her normal bloodline, but also gives her kids the ability to take any information that the subject has and learn it in an instant, Tsunade said. The three just looked at her. It means that the Yamanaka bloodline will be like the Sharingan. The only difference will be that if Ino and Naruto had a kid, they will not only have both their parents' bloodlines, but they will also be able to learn any that's not a bloodline just by going in the head of their opponent for a split second, Tsunade explained. Any side effects, Kurenai asked. Besides the normal disadvantage that the Yamanaka bloodline have, I'm not sure, Tsunade said. And the second person, Yugugo asked. Sakura Haruno has a 90% chance of creating a new bloodline, Tsunade said. Haruno, I wasn't aware of a bloodline within that family, Kurenai said. They don't. In fact, Sakura is the only ninja ever reported in the family, Tsunade said. How is it possible that she will create a new bloodline? Anko asked, confused. Well, although no Haruno have ever been a registered ninja doesn't mean they haven't had people attempt to become a ninja. Everyone who attempted had godlike chakra control, but the downside was they had so little amount of chakra that they never could do more than 1 an hour, Tsunade said. What's so special about this Sakura girl? Anko asked. Well, nothing except her chakra control is unusually high even for a Haruno, and her chakra supply isn't higher than other Harunos, giving her the chance to actually become a genin. I'm not sure how a kid with the two would turn out, but it will have Naruto's godlike chakra and Sakura's godlike control, which that in itself is like having a bloodline, Tsunade said. I for one think it's worth a try to get a marriage contract between them, Yugugo said. I think we need to discuss this with Kushina first. She isn't too fond of the idea that Naruto has to go back there for the exams. I don't think she will take this news lightly either, Kurenai said. I agree, Anko said. In Wave, Kushina was sitting with her genins along with Haku, and Kasumi was eating dinner when the room got dark. Welcome, they heard. Mom, what's going on? Naruto asked. I'm not sure what Kushina said. I have been here before, the day when I moved sand for the first time, Naruto said, realizing where he was. Yes, the first time I was able to see into your past, the voice said. Kushina asked who was there. Well, tell your son to make some lights, this is his mindscape, the voice said. Naruto, Kushina said. Naruto closed his eyes and thought of something different, and it appeared in front of everyone's eyes. Cool, Tenten said. Welcome, I'm Cubit, Fox said. Kushina asked, how are we here? I see no one is scared, Cuba said with amusement. We already know about you, Hinata said. Well, do you know I can send you back in time, Kyubi asked. We didn't know what Hinata said. I know you didn't, but I'm going to do it anyway, Cuba said. Kushina asked. 2 reasons. First, Naruto needs to learn to use the Hiraishin no Jutsu, and second, to find out who killed my family, Cuba said. So all of us are going back, Kushina asked. Yes, but you can't interact with anyone from the past, and you will only be in the past long enough to learn who killed my family. Once you find the will end, so use your time wisely. If you don't learn the Hiraishin no Jutsu before then, you will have to figure it out yourself, Kyubi said. So, as long as we don't find out who killed your family, we will stay in the past, Kushina asked. No matter what happens, the will end the moment I reach the village of Konoha, Kyubi said. Okay, how far back will it be until that happens, Kushina asked. 1 day, Kyubi answered. You expect him to learn Hiraishin in 1 day, Kushina asked. Kushina shook her head as the bright light died down and looked around. Well, let's get to work. You three find Minato and follow him. He should hide the scroll for the Hydration before he seals Kyubi. I'm going to find Kyubi and find out who killed her family. She ordered them. The three took off towards the Hokage's tower while Kushina vanished in a burst of speed. Break! Naruto, Tenten, and Hinata quickly found their target and shadowed him, taking note of everything that he hid and sealed up. They jumped out the window of the Kage's tower and proceeded to follow the current Hokage. He entered the forest and made sure no one had followed him, summoning Noe said, and summoned a medium-sized toad. Minato, why did you summon me in such a dark and tight space? The toad asked. Sorry, but I need you to take this scroll. It's for Hydration. No place here is safe for it. Can you keep it with the toads until my son Naruto is old enough to summon toads? Sure, but why are you talking as if you won't be able to teach him the move yourself? The toad asked. Kyubi is attacking. I'm going to try and stop it before it destroys the village. I might need the boss help, Minato said. I'll let him know, the toad said, then was gone. Break! Kushina noticed that her students were closer to their target and sped up. She quickly ran through the gate and into the forest. She had no idea how she would find Kyubi until there was a spike in demonic chakra. Running towards the chakra, she saw two ninjas running towards her with an angry Kyubi behind them. When they got closer, she recognized who the two were. Break! Haku and Kasumi looked over at the four when the room turned bright white. Did you find what you were looking for? Kasumi asked when the light went away. I know why Kyubi attacked Konoha, Kushina said. We know where the scroll for the Hydration is, Tenten said. Kushina asked. With the toads, Naruto told them. Well, this is a problem. We either have to get Jiraiya to summon the right toad or have you sign the toad contract, Kushina said while thinking through the options. Break! Sitting in her room was the youngest Hyuga. Just turning 5, she turned and picked up her doll, something no one knew she had. She smiled as she remembered the day she got it. Flashback. You're still here, didn't you die a few years ago? Hayashi asked while not even looking up at her. I hate you, she yelled, as a reply while trying to stop herself from crying again. Really, go do something with yourself. I don't have time to deal with you right now, Hayashi said, as he continued to sign some papers. At least you can act like you know it's my birthday, the girl replied. Unless you want me to kill you where you stand, get out of my office now, Hayashi said, finally looking up from his work and glaring at her. She glared back and turned, walking out. I hope you die painfully, she said, just loud enough for him to hear. At least I won't have to deal with useless girls like you, Hayashi said, as he went back to his work. She slammed the door as hard as she could, only making a really loud sound since she wasn't strong enough to actually break it. Walking to her room, she saw a hawk sitting outside her window. Quickly shutting her door, she ran over and opened the window, letting the bird in before it was seen. The hawk looked at her. Hanabi, have you been crying? It asked. The 5-year-old quickly wiped her face again. Don't be silly, Fran, of course I wasn't crying, I'm a big girl, and big girls don't cry, she said. What did he do this time? Fran asked. Hanabi sighed and told her what happened. Well, I have something that will cheer you up, Fran said. Hanabi took the letter off the hawk's leg and the doll off her back. Wow, this is so pretty, she said, looking at it. Looking at the letter, she realized it was simple and to the point. Happy birthday, Hanabi was all it said. Flashback ends. Looking at the hawk, she pulled out a scroll, pen, and wrote 3 words on the paper, then tied it to the hawk. Break! Kushina watched as her genin trained in taijutsu. Haku decided to join them to make it even, and was currently fighting Hinata. Kasumi walked up to them. So what are your plans here? Will you stay or leave and prepare for the exams? She asked. We are going to stay here and help Wave get back on their feet. I'm not sure about the exams, they are in Konoha, and I don't want them going back there anytime soon. Kushina then looked at her. What about you? Do you have any genins to put in the exams? She asked. Not unless Haku agrees to come back to Kiri with me. I only have 2 genin level kunoichis who are ready for the exams. Everyone else is all ready or higher or too young, Kasumi said. I think I can convince her to go with you for a few weeks, Kushina said. As they continued to watch them train, Kushina noticed the hawk floating above Hinata, giving a whistle, and holding her arm out. The hawk flew to her. Sorry, you will have to wait here with me until she is finished training or give me the message for her, she said. I think I will wait, there are some things she needs to know, the bird told Kushina. Moving her arm so the bird could rest on her shoulder, she nodded. That's fine, they should be finished soon, she said. 15 minutes later, the 4 stopped training, all too tired to stand. Hinata, you have a message, Kushina called out. Before I give you the letter, I should tell you what you want. As you know, today is Hanabi's birthday, but no one has so much as acknowledged her. All she wants is to have someone to talk to, someone to play with, someone who she can trust to take care of her, but all she got is constant promises of death. Hayashi told her he would rather be dead than have to take care of someone as worthless, as her friend then moved so Hinata could take the letter off her leg. Slowly taking the letter, Hinata read it out loud. Come get me, 3 words, 3 simple words, but they hit them all like a ton of bricks. Looking down at the paper, everyone could see the tear droppings that covered it. 3 little words that made Hinata's blood boil. She wanted to go save her sister now, but one look at Kushina made her hold her tongue. Is there anything else we should know? Kushina asked. Hanabi is terrified to cry. Fran said, then she was gone. Hinata balled her hands, taking some dirt with them. As tears fell off her face, Hanabi, she choked out. Tenten and Naruto didn't have a clue as to what to do. Neither had ever had to deal with something this serious. They looked at Kushina, but the look on her face was also one they had never seen before, and it scared them. Kushina looked at her. Genin, I need to get you 3 ready for the exams. I'm doubling your training, she said. Hinata's head shot up, but she was cut off. There in Konoha, Kushina said, turning to Haku. She studied the girl for a while. I need you to go with Kasumi and be her genin for these exams, she finally said. Haku wanted to argue, but knew it was better to keep shut, so she just nodded in agreement. Kasumi stood. Let's go, Haku, she said. Just because I agreed with this doesn't mean you can tell me what to do. I'm going with Kushina after the exams, Haku stated. Well, until then you're my genin, so you will do what I say, Kasumi retorted. Haku, will you just do this? It's only for a month, Kushina said. Fine, but I don't have to like it, Haku huffed. Now we can go to Haku. We need to find this Gato guy and fix Wave Kasumi. Break. A week later, Team Kakashi was at the bridge with Tanzuna. Everything was going fine until the bridge was covered by fog. Before anyone could say or do anything, the fog was gone, and a surprised Kakashi and Zabuza looked at the newcomer. Zabuza, leave Wave now, the Kunoichi said in a commanding voice. Zabuza looked at her. You look familiar, he said. If it's not a problem for you, me and Zabuza have some things to finish here, Kakashi said. The Kunoichi tossed Gato's head in front of Zabuza. You have no reason to stay, now leave while you have a chance, she said. You killed my money, Zabuza said, looking at Gato's head. I'm only going to tell you one more time, leave or I will kill you, she said. Kakashi-sensei, who was Kunoichi, a confused Sakura asked. I'm not sure, stay alert, Kakashi said. Kasumi, leave this to us, you did enough, another Kunoichi said, as she walked across the water with 4 genins behind her. Kasumi, as in Kasumi Natsuko of the Natsuko clan, Zabuza asked in surprise. I thought all you were killed off, he added. They were, I'm the last one, Kasumi said. Jumping onto the bridge and landing next to Kasumi were Kushina, Naruto, Hinata, Tenten, and Haku. I was wondering where you went, Zabuza said. Don't speak to me, as if you were me, as if you missed me, Haku said with a glare. You should be careful who you look at like that, you might get into trouble, Zabuza said while grabbing his cleaver. Holy shit, I want one of those, Naruto said. Me to Tenten said, as she drooled looking at the weapon. I have heard of those, but never actually seen one, she added. Not now, Kushina said. Do you have a problem with us? Sasuke asked the smallest ninja on the bridge. In fact, Hinata replied with as much hate as she could produce. What did we do to you, Sakura asked, confused. Hinata just continued to glare, fighting not to activate her Byakugan. That was a secret until the exams. Sasuke matched her glare with one of his own. Naruto looked over at them, Akamaru said. The Inu looked from Kiba's hood and saw Naruto jumping out. It shocked the Konoha's ninja by running up to Naruto and licking him. How have you been? Naruto laughed as he petted the Inu. Akamaru, what are you doing? Kiba said. And why do you smell like kitsune? He added. You better go back, Naruto said. Haku, get over here, and I will forgive you for running away, Zabuza said. I didn't run away, I just opened my eyes, and finally saw clearly who you are, Haku replied. I see, Zabuza said. He then picked up his cleaver and held it towards Haku. Your funeral, he said. Zabuza, Kushina said in a commanding voice, making everyone look at her. I'm your opponent, not Haku, she said, pulling off her own katana. Zabuza looked at her. Kushina Ozumaki, also known as the Red Sand. What problems do you have with me? He asked. Oh, just protecting my youngest sister, Kushina said, shrugging, as she stepped in front of Haku. I guess I'm going to have to go through you first, Zabuza said. Zabuza-sama, we will take care of the others, one of the ninjas with him said. Tenten pulled a katana off her back. Scorpion tried not to break it this time, she said, tossing it to Naruto. Not making any promises, Cat, Naruto said. You better not break it. Tenten growled out, effectively scaring Naruto. Cat and Scorpion, not now, Hinata whispered to her older siblings. We are still here, Sasuke growled out. We can smell you, Hinata said without looking at him. You will pay for that comment, Sasuke growled. A hummingbird, Hinata said, completely ignoring him, as the bird floated in front of her. Hinata reached out to touch the small yellow bird when everything slowed down, as a shuriken came spinning at the bird, and sliced through it in a clean easy cut. "Don't ignore me," Sasuke growled. Hinata caught the bird in her hands. "Why, what did this bird do to you?" She glared at Sasuke. "What did this hummingbird do to you, damn Uchiha?" she yelled at the top of her lungs. Tenten and Naruto looked at the dead bird, and looked at each other. "Oh shit," they both said, and slowly backed away from their younger sister. They quickly learned, mainly from Kankuro, that you never harm a bird around Hinata or you would likely end up in the hospital for weeks, and that if she liked you, if not well, the Uchiha would find out soon enough. Everyone looked at Hinata at the sudden burst of chakra that came from her. "What the hell?" Zabuza said. "Which one of you hurt a bird?" Kushina asked. "It's not hurt, it's dead," Hinata said, as she sat it down on the ground. "Well, pervert, looks like you're going home with one less genin," Kushina said, then went back to attacking Zabuza without another thought. The others watched Hinata, as she grabbed the rose sitting in her hair, then she was gone, no trace of chakra, no dust flying off the ground, no breeze, as she moved, nothing. It was, as if she vanished off the face of the earth. Then blood was seen coming from Sasuke, as Hinata's whip came across his chest. Hinata brought her whip at him again, this time aiming for his neck, but was stopped by Kakashi, as he grabbed her whip. "A wrong move," she said, as thorns 6 inches long extended out and into his hand. "Cat, can you take both the pink-haired girl and Akamaru's partner?" Naruto asked. "Yeah, go help Haku." Tenten. Kasumi appeared between Hinata and Kakashi. "Looks like I'm going to have to fight." She then sighed. "Things would have been so much easier if you would have let us deal with Zabuza than went about our business," she said, as she got into her stance. Kakashi looked at his hand. "Damn, I can't mold chakra right with my hand like this." He then looked at Hinata. "What is in that whip has to be some type of poison," he thought. "Sasuke, be careful. Her whip has some type of poison in it," he warned. Hinata zoomed past the 2 jounin, and attacked with reckless abandon, as Sasuke had his Sharingan active, and 2 kunai in his hands blocking the whip. With the control she had at enlarging and shrinking the whip at her will, getting close to her was impossible, as Sasuke was finding out. Hinata spent around with her whip, and quickly turned it back into a rose, surprising Sasuke, as she punched him hard in the nose, sending him back. "Rose whip," she called out, and wrapped it around Sasuke's leg, and swung him across the bridge, making Kushina jump back from Zabuza, as the genin hit the ground between the two. A shadow appeared above them. "Thorns of death," Hinata called out, as she twirled her whip around her, shooting off hundreds of thorns. Before they could reach him, a pink blur appeared, and started to block the thorns with 2 kunai. Once the thorns stopped, Sakura stood then with her 2 kunai, and about 50 thorns in her body. "I don't need protection from a weakling like you, Sasuke," said, as he got up, and roughly pushed Sakura off to the side. Hinata dropped to one knee, as her chakra was almost gone. She hated that no matter how hard she trained, she always had less chakra than Naruto, Tenten, Gaara, and Temari. She knew she would never have as much as Naruto and Gaara, but it still pissed her off that her chakra was so low. Yes, she had more chakra than Kankuro, but that was because she was lazy as hell, and barely took training seriously. Sasuke slowly approached her, then suddenly fell face first. But when it kicked in, Hinata whispered. "What did you do to me?" Sasuke demanded. "A poison that paralyzes your body flows through my whip," Hinata said. "Shit, Kiba got Sakura," Kakashi ordered, as he separated from Kasumi, and grabbed Sasuke before he too was paralyzed. "Let's go," Zabuza said, and jumped away with all the confusion along with his 2 ninjas. The rest of ninjas sat on the bridge out of breath, and chakra, which was intense, Tenten said. "I don't think it's over," Kasumi said, as she spotted hundreds of people running up to them with swords drawn. Soon they were surrounded. "You killed our meal ticket, now pay with your lives," one of them yelled. "Anyone have enough chakra to handle them?" Kushina asked. "I can barely move," Naruto said. "I think that pink-haired girl poisoned me," Tenten said, trying to get up. Haku, Kasumi, and Kushina said at the same time. "I think she passed out," Hinata said, poking the girl. The 2 sighed. "Thinking we can talk them out of killing us?" Kasumi asked. Kushina looked at them. They looked pissed. "I don't think talking will get us out of this," she said. Soon the samurai ran at them ready to kill. "Well, at least we were able to free this country from Gato." Kushina. The closest samurai was about to bring his sword down on Kushina, poised to kill, as she looked him in the eye, not showing any fear, but glaring at him with hate. Just as the sword was about to touch him, his entire body was covered with sand coffin, sand burial, they heard. Then there was a spray of blood all over Kushina. Gaara, Temari, Kankuro, and Baki appeared between their friends and the samurai. "This is your only chance to leave or we will kill you all," Baki said. One samurai ran straight at Gaara, a sand coffin said, and killed him before he took 5 steps. The rest of the samurais ran before they too were killed. "Never thinking I would see the day when Kushina-sensei was beaten," Temari said. "Nice to see you, Temari," Kushina said. The hummingbird is the smallest bird, and it flaps its wings the fastest out of all the birds, Hinata said. Hinata will just bury the bird, Tenten asked. Hinata shot her a glare. I didn't say anything when you mourned about that cat that was killed, did I? She snapped. Fine, just hurry up. I would like to get back to the hotel, Tenten said. I'm hungry, Naruto said. Gaara looked at Naruto. Why didn't you use Kyuubi? You could have taken care of them easily, he asked. Konoha was here, Naruto said. Oh, was all Gaara said, as he knew about them trying to spy on Naruto. You all look like hell, and who are the new chicks? Kankuro asked. You're pathetic, Temari said, smacking him with her fan. Baki, you're putting them in the exams. We need to go get Hanabi, Kushina said in her serious mode. Baki looked at Hinata, then back at Kushina. They are next month, right? He asked, immediately understanding why she told him. Yes, was all Kushina said. Good, they need a few search and rescue missions to get ready, Baki said. Kushina then turned to Kankuro, who immediately took notice and gulped, wondering what he did wrong this time. Kankuro, we are from this moment on preparing for a search and rescue mission. If you mess up or don't take this serious, you can kiss your ninja career goodbye. Fixing a cold glare at him to make sure he knew she wasn't playing. Do I make myself clear? She asked. Yes, ma'am, he stuttered out. Good, now let's get to our hotel room so we can discuss what our main target is for this mission, Kushina said. Break. Tsunade walked out of her mini-lab in the Ozumaki compound and sat in the yard with Anko, Kurenai, and Yugugo. The biggest advantage of having a kid with Naruto would be if Hinata had a kid with him, she said. Kurenai asked. Because with his ability to control sand, and Hinata's Byakugan, kid will be able to use sand in ways Naruto can only dream of, Tsunade said. Meaning that they will be able to use the sand to hit chakra points, Yugugo asked. Exactly what Tsunade said. Temari and Tenten, Anko asked. I'm not entirely sure, I'm still running tests, but one thing is for sure, any kids with Tenten will have an unlimited supply of weapons to throw, Tsunade said. Break. Hanabi laid in her room, as there was a knock on her door. Your dinner was served, the person said, then walked away. Hanabi walked to the door and looked at the tray and promptly shut the door. Walking to the window, she opened it, and a hawk immediately flew in. What's wrong? Ran asked. I'm hungry, Hanabi said. I'll bring you back some food, Fran said, and flew off. Break. Everyone finally made it back to the hotel room, and Haku was up and alert and far away from Kankuro. Kushina cleared her throat. Our objective for the next month is to prepare to fight all of Konoha if we have to. Of course we will have Suna behind us, but that is not enough. We need to double, even triple our training to be prepared, she said. Kushina-sensei, who exactly is our target? Kankuro asked. My sister Hinata got their attention, Hanabi Hyuga, she said. My sister Hinata got their attention, Hanabi Hyuga, she said. Team Baki looked at her in surprise. I didn't know you had a sister, Kankuro said, showing his surprise. No one in Suna did except those who needed to know, Kushina informed them. So how will we go about getting her out of Konoha? Temari asked. We will have Hinata sneak into the Hyuga compound and collect information as soon as we get there. From the information she gather, either I or Anko will go in at night before we leave and kidnap her, Kushina said. Why can't I just get her when I go to Hinata? Because you also have to do the exam. We won't waste a perfectly good chance for you all to become and get revenge on them by beating all their genins, Kushina said. At least let me go see her when I get in, Hinata asked. What you do once you're inside the compound is up to you, just don't blow your cover, Kushina told her. I won't, Hinata said. Good, now, as for training, I'm going to focus on increasing Hinata's chakra, while Naruto continues to master our bloodline. Tenten, I want you to put your weapon-making ability to good use in the month we have, Kushina said. Tenten couldn't help but smile brightly. She never actually had permission to openly create weapons. I'm going to need some better material then, she said. Don't worry, Anko, Kurenai, and Yugugo had some metals shipped in from all around the shinobi world. It should be there when we get back, Kushina said. Break. Hanabi sat in the conference room while a meeting was going on about her future. Not far from her were the visitors from IWA. The boy was a year older than her, and with him was his mother. The entire meeting was about a peace treaty, and they planned to use her as a means of showing they wanted peace between the two countries. After that, she lost interest and started to wonder how long it would be until she was taken from this hell of a life she lived. Break. After much work, Kushina finally was able to find out the location of the meetings between the Kazekage and Orochimaru. After it was found out they were meeting, the meeting place was changed, and it took almost 5 years to find it. Waking closer, she listened in on their conversation. I plan to attack Konoha during these exams. I require your help, the Kazekage said. I will agree to help you, but I require payment for my services, Orochimaru said after a few minutes. After we destroy Konoha we will split their money, that should be enough payment, the Kazekage said. Kushina quickly left, not needing to hear anymore. Break. Kushina appeared in the counseling meeting room. How did your investigation go? I hope you're making progress, your time is almost up, an elder said. Kushina couldn't help the smile that spread across her face. In fact, I have all the information I need, and we won't need to kill the Kazekage, just appoint a new leader, she said. Oh, and what news did you hear? The elder asked. I found out that the Kazekage planned to attack Konoha at the exam, she told them. I may not like them, but Konoha is too large for us to take on at the moment, Shio said. I understand that, but the Kazekage has requested the help of Orochimaru Kushina. This will destroy us, an elder said. I have a plan, we should continue, as if we agree with the attack, but secretly appoint a new Kazekage, and when the attack starts the new Kazekage will take over, and pull us out of Konoha so we won't have any part of this, and get rid of both the current Kazekage, and Orochimaru Kushina suggested. This has nothing to do with you wanting to kidnap the Hyuga, an elder asked. Her name is Hanabi, and I would be lying if I said I wouldn't use this distraction to my advantage, Kushina said. She never liked that particular elder. We will discuss this over, and inform you of our decision, and the new Kazekage, Chio said. Break. Kushina stood in front of her team. As they got ready to leave, everyone got everything they needed, she asked. Yes, they three genins answered together. Anko, Kurenai, and Yugugo, Kushina asked. I'm ready, as ever, Anko said. Kurenai and Yugugo just nodded. Kushina and the messenger called out. Yes, Kushina answered. The council agreed with your plan, the new Kazekage will be you, he said, then vanished. Break. Jumping through the trees towards the meeting spot, the group of Konoha ninjas stopped when they realized that the ninja they were escorting wasn't there. Now what? The blonde asked. Just be patient, we are early, her sensei said. Just then a group of ninja landed in front of them. One appeared in front of the blonde. Hello miss, I'm Scorpion, may I have your name, he asked, grabbing her hand and kissing it. The kunoichi blushed at the unexpected interaction. I'm Ino, nice to meet you, she said, blushing. Unhand her, someone said from the branch above them. Looking up at the shinobi, oh sorry, I didn't realize she had a boyfriend, he said. She is not my girlfriend, the shinobi said. Well, if she isn't your girlfriend, then who are you to tell me I can't talk to her, Scorpion asked. She is way out of your league, the shinobi said. Scorpion tilted his head to the side with a very confused look on his face while trying to figure out what that means. Raptor, he asked. It means you have no chance of getting her to notice you, she told him. Well, I'm sure Ino-chan is old enough to determine who she would want to date, and who she wouldn't, Scorpion said. I won't tell you again, unhand her, the shinobi said. You know I don't like the tone you took with me, Scorpion said, all the while still smiling. Scorpion here, Cat said, tossing him a small weapon. It needs to be tested, she whispered. A fan, Scorpion said in confusion, opening the weapon. Do not ignore me or you all will pay, the shinobi said. Kissing Ino's hand again, I'll be back, he said. Vanishing, he shocked the shinobi by appearing right in his face, then quickly jumped back down in shock. Shit, he said, pointing to him, unable to form a complete sentence. I realized you can't match me, the shinobi asked in an arrogant way. Scorpion, what's wrong, Raptor asked. Yeah, it takes a lot to get this kind of reaction out of you, Cat said. Scorpion looked at Raptor, then back at the shinobi. Correct me if I'm wrong, but you're a Hyuga, right, he asked after calming down. That's correct, the shinobi said. I'm the strongest Hyuga in the village besides the elders, he added. I see, then you wouldn't mind a little test, Scorpion said. Test the Hyuga repeatedly. Sandstorm, Scorpion said, swinging the fan at the Hyuga. Whoa, it's a lot easier with this than with hand signs, he commented. Scorpion stopped, Kushina said. Okay sensei, Scorpion said, completely forgetting about the Hyuga. We should get going. Niji, where is your team? Konoha finally said. They are close, Niji said, then jumped off. Man, I think that Hyuga hit me when I first jumped up to his face, Scorpion said. You will be fine, it's nothing that won't go away in a few minutes, Raptor said. So Ino-chan, how about I treat you to lunch once we get back to your village? I'll pay, Scorpion asked. Ino turned and smiled at him. I'll have to think about it, she said, then jumped off. I think I'm in love, Scorpion said. It's just a crush, Kushina said while watching Ino. Both Hinata and Tenten watched Ino, but for different reasons. She was going to have to prove herself before she was able to date their brother. Break. They arrived at the village and saw Niji waiting for them. Ino, let's go, he said. You know, for someone from a clan like the Hyugas, you're rude, Scorpion said. Niji hit him with the Hyuga glare. You will know your place in my village, and you will stay away from Ino if you know what's good for you, he said. Naruto matched his glare. My place is wherever the hell I want it to be, and until Ino-chan tells me differently, nothing you say will chase me away, he said. Don't test your luck. Let's go, Ino, now, Niji said. Ino glared at him. No, she said. What? Niji asked. I said no, you don't own me. Besides, Scorpion-kun asked me out to lunch, and I just got hungry, Ino said, and walked over to Scorpion. Niji took a step towards her, but was stopped by Scorpion, stepping forward. Do you really want to challenge me? He asked while the earth beneath him started to break up into sand and rise into the air. Niji looked at his options and knew the redhead would be hard to handle by himself, but his two teammates looked as if they would attack at a moment's notice, and was proved right, as the smallest one vanished and stuck a forced palm into his stomach, knocking the air out of him. Do not piss us off or you will pay dearly, she said. She was about to strike again, but was stopped by her team. Raptor got himself under control, Cat said. Well, don't cause too much trouble, we are going to get a hotel. Raptor, don't forget what I told you, Kushina said, as the four walked away. Break. Ino walked them to a restaurant. This is my favorite restaurant in the entire village, she said. Well, let's go in, I'm hungry, Scorpion said. You're always hungry, Cat commented. So Ino-chan, what's with the Hyuga? Scorpion asked. We are supposed to be dating, she said, as if she hated the thought of it. Really, from the sound of it, you hate him, Scorpion said, as Cat and Raptor just sat back and listened. I do, she said. If you don't mind, will you tell me why besides the obvious? Scorpion asked. Well, it all started around the time I was 5. At the time I was considered one of the 2 princesses of Konoha along with Hinata Hyuga, the heir to the Hyuga clan. Well, once she was found dead, I became the princess of Konoha, and Niji became the heir to the Hyuga clan. Since then the village has put it in our heads that we are to be together if the village is to succeed. The village literally forced him on me without asking my opinion or the opinion of my father, she told him. Hinata's head perked up upon hearing her name. I heard that. Didn't have a sister, she asked. Yeah, Hanabi, sweet girl, but I fear for her life sometimes. Hayashi can be a bit overbearing, Ino said. Overbearing is an understatement, Raptor mumbled. Tell me more about the Hyugas, Scorpion asked. You're on a date with me, but you want to know about someone else, Ino asked in a teasing tone. Hey, I got to know who my competition is if I want to go on another date with you, Scorpion defended. Trust me, you have no competition from the Hyugas. In fact, the only competition you have for my heart is my overprotective father, Ino told him. Break. Hinata sat across from the Hyuga compound wondering how she would get in. She already stole a hetaie from a sleeping shinobi and got her hands on the standard Hyuga clothes, but she still had no way in, at least not until she saw a bunch of Hyugas running towards the compound and joined them. You all head straight to the council meeting, the leader of them yelled. Once actually in the main part of the compound, she quickly separated and walked the halls as if she was a servant. Hey you, someone called from the kitchen. Turning and gulping, she answered, yes, as quickly as she could. Take this to Hanabi's room and be quick about it, the cook said. She looked at the slop that was on the tray and sneered. Quickly calming herself, what room is she in? I'm new to the main house, she asked. At the top, can't miss it, it's the only room up there, he replied, as he waved her away. Quickly making her way to the top, she knocked on the door. Hanabi, your lunch is ready, she called. You know the rules, sit it there, and come back in 15 minutes to get it, she heard. Knocking again, it's me, Hinata, open the door, she said. She heard some quick movements, and the door flew open. I knew you would come, the younger sister said, as she threw herself into her older sister's arms. Of course I was coming back for you, I just needed to wait until the right time, Hinata replied. Hanabi pulled her into her room, then looked her over. You here for the exam, she asked. Yeah, Anko, Kurenai, and Yugugo will be here to kidnap you before we leave, so make sure you have everything packed by then, Hinata said. Will I see you again before, Hanabi asks? If you want, you still have Fran, right? She can come tell me anytime you want to see me, Hinata said. Break. The genin was standing in front of a gated forest waiting for the second exam to begin. Hey Temari, can I borrow your fan, Scorpion asked. No, Temari replied. Come on, I want to fly on it again. I won't break it, Scorpion said. You said that last time, Temari replied. You're no fun, he said, then sped off in a different direction. As he was running, he spotted Ino and ran up to her. Hello princess, I'm glad you made it this far in these exams, he said, bowing to her. Ino giggled while blushing from the attention he was attracting to her. Hi Scorpion, I'm glad you made it this far also, she replied. Here is to you making it past this part. He then kissed her hand. Okay, which one of you gave Scorpion sugar again? Cat yelled at the other 4 Suna genins. Wasn't me, Gara said while stuffing his face with candy. Gara, the Suna genin, yelled. What? Gara asked innocently. It's not affecting me, I didn't know it would affect him so much, he said while shrugging his shoulders. Didn't I tell you to stay away from Ino, they heard. Niji, you said a lot of crap that I wasn't listening to. I was taken by Ino-chan's beauty to pay you any attention, Scorpion said. You keep trying your luck, and I will make you regret it, he said. You really don't know who I am, do you? Scorpion asked him seriously. It doesn't matter, by the end of these exams you will be dead, he said. Well, let me refresh your memory, Scorpion said. Scorpion, what are you doing? Cat yelled. 8 years ago you came across me in the forest, and took it upon yourself to beat me for no reason, Scorpion said, ignoring her. Niji just looked at him, and asked, what are you talking about? A week later you were with Hayashi, and I was coming out of the hospital when he told you to demonstrate how much you learned in your first month of training, Scorpion said. Niji thought about that. What does that have to do with you though? If I recall, that boy was cut off. Naruto Uzumaki, Scorpion said for him. Please don't do this. Cat and Raptor mumbled. Everyone looked at him in confusion. What does that boy have to do with you? He is dead, Niji asked. Scorpion smirked. You would think that he said, then held up a hand sign, transforming said. Then his hair changed color, and he got his whisker marks back. Oh, don't look so surprised, Niji. I told you I would pay you back for what you did to me, he said. If you're alive, then that means, Ino said, then stopped looking at Raptor and Cat. You two are 10-10, and Hinata, she asked. Great, you blew our cover, Raptor said in frustration as she transformed herself back to normal. Her eyes went from blue to their normal pale color, and her hair changed from light blue to its normal indigo color. Well, at least we get to have some fun now, Cat said, as her eyes changed from green to chocolate brown, and her hair from blonde to its normal brown color. Everyone from Konoha stared at them, as if they were looking at a ghost. Everyone else just looked confused. Naruto smirked, with a shocked look. Surprised that your famed Byakugan couldn't spot our transformation, he asked. You're supposed to be dead. Ino stuttered out, looking at them. Yeah, about that. I didn't feel like dying at the time, Naruto said, turning to Niji. Prepare for hell, he said, then walked back to his team. I need to inform Hayashi-sama about this, Niji said. Looks like we have some interesting opponents, someone commented. Break. Sitting on a branch in the forest, the two teams from Suna already had the scrolls they need plus more. Hey, I'm going to find Ino-chan, Naruto said. Not now, Naruto 10-10 said. She looked freaked out. I want to make sure she is not mad at me for not telling her sooner, Naruto said. Fine, let's make this quick, 10-10 said. Byakugan, Hinata said. This way, she told them, and took point, leading them through the forest. Break. Ino was sitting on a branch deep in thought. Ever since she found out Scorpion was Naruto, she was thinking if it was right to go on the date he asked her on, since he did lie to her. Biting her nails, she didn't know what to do. Ino, can you come on before we are found? He isn't worth getting depressed over, her teammate said lazily. Shut up, Shikamaru, I happen to really be confused here, and I don't need you breathing down my neck, she snapped at him. Troublesome woman, he mumbled. Someone's coming, their last teammate said. Relax, we are not here to fight, Hinata said, as she walked out into the opening. Then why are you here? Ino asked. Actually, to talk to you, Hinata replied. I'm listening. Ino replied from her spot. Yeah, but I don't trust your teammates, so can you come with me, Hinata asked. And I'm not sure I trust you, Ino retorted. Fair enough, let me get the rest of my team, Hinata said, and walked back into the forest. She won't come, we have to go to her, she told them. Walking back to the opening, the sixth ninja walked out the forest. If it isn't the liar, Ino said with hurt in her voice. Ino-chan, I'm sorry, Naruto said. I don't want to hear your apology, she told him harshly. Please just listen to me, Naruto asked desperately. Why didn't you tell me? Did you think I would turn you down if I knew that you were really Naruto Ino? Yeah, Naruto said shyly. Do you think I'm that shallow? Yeah, I knew the village hated you, but that doesn't give you the right to mislead me for your own purpose, Ino said angrily. And the worst part was that I really thought you could make me happy, she whispered. Ino-chan, Naruto started. No, don't talk to me again, Ino said, then jumped into the forest. Dropping his shoulders, Naruto turned and started walking in a different direction. Everyone watched him walk off. Where the hell are you going? 10-10 finally asked. We already have the scroll, I'm going to the tower, Naruto replied. Go after her, Hinata said. You heard her, she doesn't want to talk to me, Naruto said. You, for someone who lives with a bunch of women, you know nothing about us, Temari said. What is that supposed to mean? Naruto asked. It means she wants you to go after her. Why do you think she looked back before she ran off? Hinata asked. If she wanted to talk to me, Naruto wouldn't have left. Naruto, if you don't go after her, she will never forgive you, 10-10 said. Hinata said Ino's being attacked. Break. Ino ran into the forest to think to herself. Sitting on a branch, she completely missed the group of Kumo ninjas that was slowly surrounding her. Sighing to herself, maybe I'm overreacting, she said out loud. Hearing a twig break, she jumped up and got in a defensive position. I know you're there, come out, she called out. It's too late to notice us, you're already surrounded, and soon we'll be beaten, one of them said. You should just give up, and we might not kill you, another one said. You're the one who should give up, Ino said. Trying to act brave, the last said. Let's just finish her off now, the first said. Windstormthy heard, and was thrown back by a force of wind. The next thing they saw was an orange blur appeared in front of Ino. I will give you one chance to leave before I kill you for attacking Ino-chan, he said. Sand coffin they heard, and Gaara appeared behind the three, killing them before they could move. Naruto turned to Ino. I'm sorry I didn't tell you, I was scared, he told her. How am I supposed to trust you if you're keeping secrets, she replied with a glare. I promise I won't keep any more secrets, Naruto said. Is that so, Ino asked. Yes, Naruto said. So there is nothing else you need to tell me, she asked. I don't think so, Naruto said while thinking it over. So you're not going to tell me you have a marriage contract with Hana Ino? I was going to tell you about what Naruto said. When Ino asked, crossing her arms. Now Naruto asked more than stated. Ino just narrowed her eyes. Okay, I should have told you about that first, but in my defense you are the first girl who I ever tried to date, and it wasn't even my idea to have a marriage contract with her. My mom did it, then told me. Not that I'm complaining, he told her truthfully. She looked at his team to see if he was telling the truth, and at their nod she turned back to him. Okay, continue, she told him. You see, me and my mom are the last of the Owazumaki clan, and we both want to rebuild it, but we don't want to choose random girls who would help just to be part of the clan. We want girls who like me for me, and not the clan, he said. I'll think about what you said. She then jumped off with her team. Many girls are confused, Naruto said, as he watched her go. Let's just get to the tower, Temari said. Break. Being one of the first groups in the tower meant they had a lot of time to relax, and for Naruto to worry about Ino. They were sitting in the eating area when Kushina walked up. I don't want to know why you did it, but you had better have a good reason for revealing yourself before I told you. It was Naruto's fault, he let the Hyuga get to him, Tenten said. I was just letting him know that I'm going to destroy him for what he did to me. There is nothing we can do about it now, just stay out of sight until the second part of the exam is over, Kushina said. Mom, I think I messed up with Ino-chan, Naruto said. Kushina asked, what do you mean? She was mad that I didn't tell her who I really am, and I think she is mad about me not telling her about what Hana. Naruto said. This is why I told you not to do anything until after you reveal who you really are. I'll think of some way to give you a chance to make things right with her, Kushina said. Break. Ino's team finally made it to the tower with only a few hours to spare. She led her team to where all the passing genins were waiting, and was surprised to see that Naruto and his teammates were back in their disguise. The Hokage stood up. Congratulations on making it this far, you all have advanced to the third and final round, which will be held in a month's time. Use this time to train hard, and just to get things started off, the first match will be Scorpion Owazumaki of Suna versus Niji Hyuga of Konoha. Good luck, he said. As Naruto and Niji glared at one another, everyone else started to leave. Finally smirking, Niji vanished, leaving just the Suna ninjas in the room. Turning to everyone else, what, Naruto asked. You go to every library, store, any place you can think of, and grab any, and every scroll. I don't care if it's a scroll for Henji, I want every scroll this village has, and not a try, and get back into the Hyuga compound. If you get any resistance at all, find me, Enko, Kurenai, or Yugugo immediately. Tenten, you are in charge of collecting weapons. Lots and lots of weapons. Gaara, Temari, and Kankuro, stay hidden, and make sure no one tries to stop our plans, Kushina ordered. Break. Ino was walking out the forest of death, still in deep thought. She wanted to believe that Scorpion, or was it Naruto, is stupid. I can't believe I'm thinking about him this much, she yelled. Princess, what's wrong? Her father asked, worried for her. Nothing, Dad told him. You sure? He replied. Yeah, I need to figure this out myself, Ino said, looking at him with determination. Break. Hayashi-sama, I have something to tell you, Niji said. Now, I'm busy, Hayashi responded. This is important, very important, Niji said. Okay, what's so important? Hayashi asked. Naruto, Tenten, and Hinata are not dead, Niji said. What are you talking about? Hayashi asked. Naruto, Hinata, and Tenten are in the village alive. They are part of Suna's genin. They go by Scorpion, Cat, and Raptor, and I believe that Hinata already has been in contact with Hanabi, possibly even inside the compound, Niji said. Impossible, how would she get into the compound? Hayashi asked. Remember a week ago when you had everyone return back to the compound for that meeting about the exams? Niji asked. Hayashi nodded, increased the training, and had a squad around Hanabi at all times, he said. Break. Hinata arrived at the Hyuga compound, and she was surprised at the security that they had set up so quickly. There was not one place on the compound wall that wasn't overlapped by 2 Hyuga elite guards. After circling the compound 3 times, she left in frustration. Break. Walking into the hotel room, she threw herself on the couch and let out a frustrated sigh. What's wrong? Kurenai asked, as she went to comfort her daughter. Mom, this is bad, Hinata said. Just tell me what's wrong, and we will try and fix it, Kurenai said. Well, Naruto, being stupid, showed who he really was just before the start of the second exam to every genin that was at the forest. Apparently Neji always beat him as a kid, and now the Hyugas have their entire compound under watch. There is no way to get in, and to make things worse, Ino is pissed at Naruto. And from what I saw, Hanabi has an entire squad of Hyugas watching her every move, Hinata told her. Anko let out a long whistle. Looks like we have our hands full now trying to get to the girl, she said. What do you suppose we should do? Yugugo asked. Nothing like an unattainable challenge to get the best out of me, Anko said with a devious smile on her face. Every time you have that smile on your face, you have some crazy plan, Yugo then smirked. I want in, she said. Kurenai, Anko asked. Yeah, I'm in, she replied. Okay, this is what we will do, Anko started. Break. Tenten stopped in front of the weapons shop and smirked. This is going to be so fun, she said to herself, then ran to the back. After picking the lock of the back door that led to the basement, she crept in and looked around. Yes, jackpot, new weapons to tinker around with, she said. She walked to the middle of the room and sat an extra large scroll in the middle, then grabbed a large scroll out of her pack and started to fill it. She came to a group of Chris Nagas and smiled. They should make an excellent weapon, she said, and put them in a separate scroll. Break. Arriving in the Hokage's library, Naruto looked around and saw a scroll sitting on a stand with glass over it. What do we have here? He asked out loud as he walked up to it. Edo Tensei, never heard of it, he said. He then read the description, and his eyes went wide. If I learn this, I can summon dead people, he said in surprise. Break. Finding a large opening by a waterfall, Naruto summoned 1,000 clones. I want you all to practice this until you can do it successfully. Every 30 minutes 5 of you will disperse so we can get your knowledge of the progress, he ordered. Already knowing the hand signs and how it is supposed to work from reading it over a few times, the clones got to work. Break. Tenten walked into the hotel to Naruto cowering in a corner with Hinata glaring at him with her Byakugan active. As she was slowly walking up to him, hey, what's going on, she asked. He is going to pay for blowing our cover, but now I can't get to my sister Hinata, as she continues to approach him. Hinata calms down, everything will work out, besides if you kill him then you won't be able to beat him senseless during training, Tenten said. Huffing, she threw Naruto one last glare, then went back to the couch. Now, I found some great weapons we can put to use now, she told them, and started to unseal the extra large scroll showing the 20 large scrolls she had filled. And I haven't even went to the ANBU weapons place yet, she told them. Well, I went to the Hokage's library and had over 1,000 jutsus all sorted by type, Naruto said, unsealing his extra large scroll. Shortly after, Temari, Gaara, and Kankura walked in, came to get some weapons and scrolls, Naruto said happily. You two work fast, Temari said with a smile. We are not finished, Tenten said looking through a scroll. Toss me a scroll, Temari said. Break. Hours later, Baki walked in on a room that had scrolls scattered everywhere. Why are scrolls all over the floor, he asked. We are reading them, they are scrolls, Hinata said while looking at a high-level scroll. I see, Baki said, as he picked up a scroll. The Eternal Wind Dragon read. Where did you get these scrolls? They all look like they are B-ranked, and higher, he asked. The Hokage's library. You know, I thought it would have more security than it has, Naruto said. How much security did Baki have? None, Naruto said. Kushina walked in the hotel with dinner in her arms, and immediately stopped. What? Why? Oh, never mind, clear a space so we can eat, she said, trying to hide her smile. Hey mom, did you know there is a scroll that can summon dead people, Naruto asked. Yeah, Edo Tensei, Kushina asked. Well, I hope you don't mind, I'm trying to learn it, Naruto said. Where is the scroll? I want to learn it, Tenten said. Oh hell, Kushina said, as the rest of the genin agreed with Tenten. Just remember that is very dangerous. Don't attempt it without knowing the risks of it, she added. We won't, they all said, reading the scroll for them. This requires a lot of chakra, Hinata added. I have 1,000 clones practicing, Naruto said. Summoning no, Gaara said, find an open place, summon 1,000 clones, and practice the, he said. You two are lucky, you have almost an unlimited amount of chakra, Tenten said. You just have to train harder. I have a way to increase your chakra within a month, Anko said walking in the room. Kushina asked curiously. Smirking, Anko eyed the genins, running up a waterfall, she said. You know how dangerous that is? Kushina asked. Yeah, I did it, as a genin. How do you think I have so much chakra, Anko asked. Do I have to do it? Naruto asked. You all will do it, Anko said. Break. A week later he ran into the office. Hokage-sama, someone broke into the Hokage's library, he yelled. What did this happen? What's missing? He demanded. Everything, there is not one scroll left in the library, they said. What? Call the council, he demanded. Soon the meeting was underway. Why did you call us here? Danzo asked. Someone broke into the Hokage's library and stole everything, the Hokage said. How is that possible? Inoichi asked. I'm not sure. Have any of you heard anything suspicious we should know about, the Hokage asked. Well, Niji did mention that 3 people thought the dead were alive, Hayashi said. Who, the Hokage asked. Naruto Uzumaki, Hinata Hyuga, and Tenten, Hayashi said. How impossible, someone yelled. Hokage-sama, there was another break in an ANBU said to appear in the room. Where, the Hokage asked. The Ichida compound, everything was taken, the only thing left is the houses themselves. Even the old clothes are gone, the ANBU said. Hokage-sama, the Senju compound was broken into, and like the Uchiha compound everything was taken, another ANBU said. Hokage-sama, the Namikaze compound was broken into, and everything was stolen, yet another ANBU said. Hokage-sama, the Hataki compound was broken into, and everything is gone, another ANBU said. Hokage-sama, someone broke into my shop and stole all the weapons out of my basement. The owner of the weapons shop yelled, running into the room. The Hokage rubbed his temples. Do we know who is doing it, he asked. That's the problem. Witnesses said that Izuna Uchiha was seen going into the Uchiha compound right before everything came up missing, the ANBU said. The same with the Senju with Hashirama and Tobarama Senju, another ANBU said. And Minato was seen entering the Namikaze compound, another ANBU said. Tsukumo Hataki was seen going into the Hataki compound, the last ANBU said. Break! Jiraiya walked into the village and looked around. What's with the panic, he asked no one in particular. As he walked he noticed a few people who should be dead, like 3 of the 4 Hokages, an Uchiha, and an Hataki. Confused, he continued to walk through the village, Erosanin, and turned to see Naruto. Hey, what's going on? Jiraiya asked. Oh, nothing you should worry about. I'm sure if you knew then the Hokage would try and get you to talk. So what brings you here? Naruto asked. Actually, Kushina asked me to bring the toad summon so you can sign it, Jiraiya said. And why are you walking around with a mask on? He added. It's fun to scare the crap out of people. I lost my temper and revealed who I am, Naruto said. Break! Wow, Naruto and Gaara, I'm surprised you both learned that fast, Kushina said with pride. Yeah, a few thousand clones, and a week is a lot of training, Naruto said. Good idea of using them to rob the village, Baki said. Yet just another one of my brilliant ideas, Kushina boasted. Hey mom, I saw Erosenin and signed the toad summon, Naruto said. Really, can you summon toads now? Kushina asked. Yup, one of them gave me this scroll and told me to give it to you, Naruto said, tossing her a scroll. Catching the scroll she opened it. Naruto, this is the scroll for the Hiraishin no. Why did the toad tell you to give it to me? Kushina asked. No clue, can I learn it now? Naruto asked. Sure. Kushina tossed the scroll back. Reading the scroll he unsealed one of the long 3-pronged kunai and added his chakra into it. The kunai glowed, and the word Naruto appeared on the kunai, and a scroll popped out with Naruto's name on it. Opening the scroll, hundreds of smaller 3-pronged kunai fell out. I guess that's all I had to do. It says that Dad made it so that the kunai only reacts to Namikaze blood, he said. Well, try it, Kushina said, picking up one of the many kunais that was over the floor and throwing it on the ceiling. After concentrating hard he vanished in a streak of yellow, but stopped halfway there and hit the ground hard. You need practice, summon your clones again, Kushina said. Break! The council was in chaos. Everywhere you turned someone was being robbed by someone who was supposed to be dead, the latest victim, Danzo, and he was robbed by Enko herself. Hey, she had a bone to pick with him. The Hokage did a good job at keeping the village under control and not letting the news of the robberies get out to the public. Security for the entire village had been increased. Naruto slipped through the village unnoticed as he approached the Yamanaka compound. Where do you think you're going? Ino-chan, he said, spinning around. What do you want, Scorpion, or should I call you Naruto? She asked, crossing her arms. I don't really want to see you at the moment, she added. I know you're mad, but let me at least explain myself, Naruto asked. I'm listening to what Ino said. Can we go somewhere private? Naruto asked, as he constantly looked over his shoulder to make sure he wasn't being watched. She led him inside the compound and to her room. My father isn't going to be home for an hour, so you have 45 minutes starting now, she told him. First, I want to say I'm sorry, and I should have told you from the beginning who I was, but you have to understand I was so afraid that you would turn me down that I panicked. That doesn't explain why you lied to me, Ino said. Naruto sighed. Well, it was because when I was 5, I saw you at the park one day, and I knew I wasn't supposed to be there, but I just wanted to say hi to you. That's when some guy, I think it was your father, he caught me and told me to stay away from you if I want to continue to live. I saw this as my chance to at least to get to know you and maybe be friends, he told her. So you lied because of something that happened when you were 5 involving my father, Ino asked. Yeah, Naruto said. Ino sat quietly for a moment. I have to think about this. I'll find you later, and we can continue to talk, she said. Okay, bye Ino-chan, Naruto said. Wait, do you have anything to do with these robberies, she asked. Promise not to tell anyone, he asked. Promise, Ino smiled. Edo Tensei called, and summoned the fourth Hokage. Yandame Hokage, how did you summon him? Ino asked in surprise. It's a dead summon, Naruto said. Break. Tenten and Hinata stood in a clearing. Edo Tensei Tenten called, and was able to summon her dead mother. It worked, she said in surprise. Congratulations, Hinata said. Can you do it? Tenten asked. Not yet, I don't have enough chakra, Hinata said. Break. A week before the final exams, I ran into Orochimaru. I'm not here to kill you, but to warn you, Suna is preparing to attack Konoha, Orochimaru said. Orochimaru, are you sure about this information, someone asked? Of course, I want Suna gone. As much as you do, they are going to attack during the third part of the exams, Orochimaru said. From where, the figure asked. The south, Orochimaru said, then vanished. Break. After going south of the village to make sure that the information was correct, and running into the Hokage's office, Hokage-sama, Suna is marching from the south. They are prepared to strike at a moment's notice, he said. Are you sure about this? The Hokage asked. Yes, I saw their entire army myself, they said. Okay, prepare everyone, we will strike them in a few days, the Hokage said. Break. Yugugo ran in the hotel with urgency. Kushina, we have a problem. Konoha somehow found out about the attack, and is preparing to strike within a few days, she said. What? Gather everyone here now, Kushina said, as she jumped out the window. Break. Ino, I told you to stay away from Suna Nin, her father said. But dad, what's wrong with them? We are allies, Ino protested. Since you want to argue, you're grounded until they leave. Don't leave this compound, her father said, then left. Ino screamed in frustration. Break. Alright, we need to get out of here while we can. Somehow they found out about the attack, Kushina said. Hanabi, Hinata asked. We will get her out somehow, Kushina said. I have an idea, Naruto said. That's the first, Kankura said. Now, what's your idea? Kushina asked. Well, me, Hinata, and Tenten can use the invisibility Kurenai taught us to sneak in and out of the Hyuga compound with Hanabi, Naruto said. Good idea, you three go, we will wait around the compound for you, Kushina said. They got everything, sealed it in a scroll, and jumped out the window. Break. After making their way into the compound and to Hanabi's room, they jumped out the window. I didn't think it was this high up before I suggested we jump, Naruto said mid-fall. Now, we have a company called Tenten. Hanabi, you're choking me, Hinata said. So you finally got enough balls to try and sneak her out, Niji said. My balls are bigger than yours, Naruto responded. I'm going to kill you, Niji said. I have been waiting to knock you around. Naruto responded while stepping towards him. Niji sped towards Naruto and kicked him in the air. Using this chance, he threw a kunai where his mother was and landed on his back. You're pathetic, Niji said. Getting up, Naruto smirked. Do you really think I'm stupid enough to take Hanabi and pick a fight while still in the Hyuga compound? He asked while more and more Hyugas surrounded them. Actually, yes I do, Niji said. You're right, that is something I would do, but not now, we have to go. Naruto then went through some hand signs, Futon, whirlwind called, and the resulting pushed all the Hyugas away. Later, assholes, he said, and grabbed Hinata's and Tenten's hand, and vanished in a yellow streak, surprising all the Hyugas. Took long enough, Kushina said. Yeah, we couldn't get them to cover Hanabi, Hinata said. Can I go back and kick Niji's ass? Naruto asked. Now let's go, Kushina said. Where do you think you're going? Turning, they looked straight at the Hokage. I was wondering why everything started to come up missing after the second part of the exams, he said. Hey old man, how about we give you an IOU and get back with you in a few years when you're dead, Naruto asked. How about you all die, he responded, and snapped his fingers, and the entire ANBU appeared, killing them. He said to them. Leave Hanabi alive, she is the price to IWA for our treaty to work, Hayashi added. The Suna ninjas looked around. We are so screwed, like hard in the ass screwed, Naruto said. Although I hate your reference, I have to agree, we are screwed, Kushina said. Jumping between them and the Konoha ANBU was the Inazuka entire clan, and Ino, Hanachan, Ino-chan, Naruto said in surprise. I'm still pissed at you for lying to me, but I will forgive you only if you take me with you out of here, Ino said. Sure, not like we have a good chance of getting out anyway, Naruto said. Alert every ninja of their treachery, and be ready to attack anyone from Suna, the Inazuka clan, and Ino Yamanka, the Hokage said. How do we get out of this? Anko whispered. There is only one that will work, Kushina said. You mean that? Yugugo asked. Yeah, we have to use it, Kushina said. They all nodded, and went through the same hand signs, Edo Tenseithi said, and summoned the first, second, and fourth Hokage, first, second, and third Kazekage, Tsukumo Hataki, all the dead Uchihas, and the dead Senjus thanks to Gaara, and Naruto's extremely large chakra reserves. Let's kick some Konoha ass, Naruto said. Thanks for watching my video, and make sure to check out the author of this fanfic, link is in the description. See you next time, till then sayonara.